Bill Grogan and your family, why don't you come over and sit over here? And is there room for anyone else from outside? Well, you know, if it gets cold, we'll just welcome them in and squeeze together a bit more. We have everybody. Okay. Well, I think we'd like to get started. And first, thank you so much for coming. It's really exciting. And we welcome you here to the Haze at Railroad Square. I'd like to start off our celebration this afternoon with a gathering song. I'm going to ask our vocalist, Tina Talby, and our keyboards, our pianist, Stephen Lee, to lead us in. Don't know me. I'm Lisa Alberghini, President of the Plain Office for Urban Affairs. We are a social justice ministry diocese of Boston, and we do the work of the church by developing permanent, affordable housing where all people can live with dignity and respect in homes they can afford. We are very privileged to be working here in Haverhill with Mayor Fiorentini, the City Council, and all of our good friends in the city departments, the City of Haverhill. And we're very privileged also to be working here with all of our public and private financing partners. We are here, of course, to celebrate the completion of the Haze at Railroad Square. This is a former mill building converted into 57 units of mixed-income workforce housing with ground floor retail space. And as I think you all know, this is another critical piece in the revitalization of downtown Haverhill. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our new residents, and I think we did this last time. Tina Brooks said, oh, it's nice to know at the end of this who lives here. The residents at the Haze at Railroad Square work in banking, computer technology, teaching, retail management and customer service, and hospitality occupations. They are nursing assistants, CNAs, and PCAs, I was told, residents who are taking classes, others who are looking for work, and still others who are veterans who have served our country. And we are blessed and honored to be with many of our residents here today. We have created, through the development of the Haze at Railroad Square, over 120 construction jobs and permanent jobs in property management, marketing, and retail operations. Together, with all of your help, we have invested over $20 million in the city through this great development. We're very proud and pleased with that. Before we hear more about this spectacular new residential community, I'd like to introduce Cardinal Sean O'Malley to say a few words. and lead us in an opening prayer. And I also wanted to welcome any parishioners of All Saints Parish and let you know that we share in your loss and sadness with the recent passing of your beloved pastor, Father Mason. Cardinal O'Malley provided inspiration and support for our work since his beginning of time as Boston's Archbishop several years ago. His commitment to helping the housing deprived extends back to his days in Washington in the 1970s and his time in Fall River, when he worked for tenant rights and the dignity of all those who need decent, affordable homes. I know I've mentioned this at some other celebrations that our lenders may have heard. Many of you here would not have. In the late 1970s, Cardinal Sean actually moved into a very rent house in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., and stayed there with the tenants while he helped them organize and purchase their building as a co-op and get it renovated. So he really experiences this and knows it in a very, very personal way. Cardinal Sean also knows the effect of home foreclosures that are rising, homelessness, and the lack of affordable housing on individuals, families, and entire communities. He has spoken up very strongly on the need to keep the Massachusetts Affordable Housing Law intact, Chapter 40B. Many of you, thank you, Cardinal. Many of you know that this law is threatened with a ballot question, and on November 2nd, please vote no on question 2 in the election. And though this is not a commonly used tool in Haverhill, it is critically important because Chapter 40B ensures that all communities do their fair share of taking care of people in need. So please stand with us and vote no on 2 on November 2nd. The Cardinal has shown great leadership on this issue and also on many advocating for the housing deprived. Most importantly, Cardinal Sean's message that comes across in everything he does and says is a simple one. Care for each other and serve one another, especially the most vulnerable among us. So for his selfless leadership, for the personal example he sets, and for his unwavering commitment to housing justice, please join me in thanking and welcoming Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. It's a great joy to be here and to celebrate with you the wonderful accomplishments. And thank you, Mayor Fiorentini and Congresswoman Tsongas, and all of our lenders and supporters who have come here today. And a very special thanks to Dr. Arcidi for all of this possible by his generous support. The Hayes at Railroad Square includes 57 units of affordable and mixed-income rental housing, and as Lisa told us, ground floor retail space to help provide jobs and services in this downtown area. Importantly, this development offers workforce housing people of modest means. It gives families homes that they can afford, a most basic human right. It gives them a safe and a secure home and allows them to provide for their families without worrying about finding or losing a home. This development is an example of how communities should be growing to serve the residents who live there. As Lisa said, we are all still mourning the passing of the wonderful pastor of All Saints, Father Dennis Nason. Very grateful for his contribution and commitment, and very grateful to the work of Father Bob Canole, who has been a very important factor in all of this. Their untiring efforts are well known to all by Catholics and non-Catholics alike. The tribute given at his funeral mass last week was a testimony to how much Father Dennis was known and loved in this community. And now let us raise in thanksgiving as we pray to our Heavenly Father to bless this project and all those who are involved in it. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Let us pray. Father of goodness, you are the source of every good gift, the source of life, the source of newness of life in our faith. We invoke your blessing upon all of those whose efforts and hard work have made this project come to fruition. Bless all of those who will dwell here and work here. Bless this community Help us to have thankful hearts and have generous hearts, to share the talents and the goods that we have received, and to know that everything that we have and everything that we are is a gift. And with your help, we will be able to make a gift of ourselves to others and make this community a wonderful place, a sign to the world of your loving providence among us. And this we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Charles Hayes was an entrepreneur. This is a former mill building built by Charles Hayes in the late 1800s, part of it in early periods. Charles Hayes was an entrepreneur, innovator, economic development engine, public servant, real estate developer, and local visionary. Sounds a little bit like someone who leads this city today. When he passed away in 1916, the Haverhill Evening Gazette described his influence in bringing to fruition a vision of the new Haverhill. How fitting it is today to celebrate the revitalization of downtown Haverhill with yet another new vision, nearly 100 years later. The vision of Mayor James Fiorentini and the City Council all gathered here today. We all know of the mayor's great leadership. He has been responsible for a most dramatic and impressive increase in expansion in the development of downtown Haverhill, with which I can say from experience he has been very personally involved. He has led the way among many Massachusetts cities with his vision and his proactive policies. At a developers conference a number of years ago, I want to say maybe 3 or so, the mayor welcomed development in Haverhill, and for developers this is a bit of an unusual experience to actually be welcomed into a community. He provided all the tools for us and other developers to succeed, actually embracing change and growth. And he's still encouraging it with pro-growth policies, careful, thoughtful pro-growth policies, and another developers conference held just this morning. The mayor's leadership is for all of those in this great city. He cares about education, jobs, the economic health of the city, and about housing. We have had the great fortune of working with him in a proactive city led by Councilor Hart. I think Councilor Hart is here today, although I'm not sure. We want to thank all of the city councilors for your help. We will never forget our experience with the mayor and the city council when we had our 40R or zoning approvals granted in one night. After a lot of work leading up to that, but I have to say a very unusual experience and gratifying experience for us. Thank you, Mayor Fiorentini, and thank you for your terrific staff, especially Bill Pillsbury and Andrew Herlihy. They are wonderful, wonderful work. We very much look forward to working with you in Haverhill again. Please give a warm welcome to Mayor Fiorentini.
Thank you so much. How do you follow a cardinal when you speak? Gingerly, I guess. Someone asked me the other day, why are we doing this? Why are we doing all of this? And we're doing it part of the Haverhill Renaissance, $150 million in new investment in our downtown. And we're so proud of it. We're doing it because it's complementary to the parking garage, which we just kicked off a week or so ago. This building wouldn't be here without the parking garage. The parking garage was necessary to meet its requirements. And the parking garage wouldn't be there without this building. We're doing this because we want to bring residents downtown. We have 500 new residents downtown, and those residents supply businesses, residents bring businesses. But there's another more profound reason why we're doing the building. We're doing this building because it's our highest duty as government officials to provide for those less fortunate than all of us. The role of government is to help people. I believe that fervently. That's why I got into office. And this is my very, very proudest day in my 7.5 years as mayor, being able to kick off this building, which is going to provide workforce housing to those most in need. Lisa, you were very kind to me in your comments, but I want to commend you to my office, and you sold us on this project. You told us what a great project this would be. You told us what Cardinal O'Malley had done in other cities. You showed us other communities where this had worked, and you made me so proud and able to do this. Today I'm so proud to be mayor of this great city and all the great things that are happening. And Cardinal, Your Eminence, you make me so proud to be a Catholic today. I can't tell you how proud I am when I see you and all the wonderful things that you've And on behalf of the people of Haverhill, I want to welcome you to Haverhill. Thank you for what you've done. And I'd like to present you with the key to our city. That'll get you into the Baldwin City Hall. I'm not sure they'd get you anywhere, but thank you so much.
For you to stay there for one moment, and Cardinal Sean has a gift for you as well. So I'm going to have you. No. This is. I want people to know that we have prepared these gifts for folks. These are made of pieces of wood made from the massive and historic beams that are in the building there. They are actually who crafted these for us counted 125 rings on the tree, and that would have been a fully grown tree, obviously, before it was put in here in 1910 and earlier. And so you're looking at wood from a sapling that we think is more than 250 years old. So it's our piece of history to pass on to all of you.
On behalf of the people of Haverhill, I accept this on this level of confidence. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas has been a strong supporter of the progress in the city of Haverhill and of our work at the Hayes at Railroad Square since she entered Congress. Several months ago, she and I were just talking about this this afternoon when she came here. Several months ago, we toured together this property, then a vacant building, with Bill Grogan, our COO, the mayor, and Congresswoman Tsongas constantly asks questions. Who are the residents who would be helped by this? What's the process? What funding do you need? Most importantly, what can she do to help? We like that question best of all. She has offered her support on a number of our funding applications. She helped us obtain an important Federal Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, grant. And of course, her work in Congress helped assure that we would be able to raise nearly $9.5 million in equity from the sale of the federal low-income and federal historic tax credits. We are very grateful for her help and support. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas.
Thank you all. It's great to be here. It's so true. I recall doing a tour down here. I think it was the summer of '08. Actually, time goes very quickly, in which it was just sort of being imagined. And to be here today, to have the ribbon cutting, to have been here last week or 2 weeks ago to sort of commemorate the groundbreaking on the Intermodal Transit Center, just tells you what an extraordinary vision the city of Haverhill has, how fortunate you are to have the leadership in Mayor Fiorentini and your delegation, and Senator Bador, Representative Dempsey, Representative L'Italian, and the support you get from the city council, as well as obviously the private sector. So it's great to be here with Cardinal O'Malley, Lisa Alberghini, and all of you as we celebrate this. And just to talk a little about, you've heard the sort of funding aspect. I often say the health of our cities, given that I represent 3 old industrial cities in the Merrimack Valley, to me the health of our is really important. But I see my role as supporting the vision that comes from within the community, and then being very proactive and interactive to advance that vision. But to tell you on a more personal level what this means to people, my office has been working with a disabled Haverhill resident, helping her access the various federal benefits and social services available to her. And she was on the brink of becoming homeless through no fault of her own when she received the great news that she was approved for an affordable unit in this building. She moved into her new place on October 1st and still calls my office. But now it is just a report to my staff how clean and wonderful it is to live here. So thank you for all this tremendous good work. It's my honor to be part of these kinds of projects that really do support the inner city, it creates smart growth opportunities, support all the other kind of great activities that are so great to the long-term health, and to work with the great leadership that we see assembled in this room. So thank you, Cardinal O'Malley, for inviting me to share this day with you. Thank you.
of introducing Tina Brooks, Undersecretary for Housing and Community Development for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who is here representing Governor Patrick today. As I'm sure you all know, the governor has been steadfast in his support of the economic growth taking place in the city of Haverhill and in his commitment to affordable housing. There is no greater sign of that commitment than his appointment of Tina Brooks as Undersecretary for Housing and Community Development. Undersecretary Brooks is a good friend of people in need and of communities working to provide for all of their residents, and her leadership has been critical to our success here at the Hayes. A lot of wind going on there. For this development, Tina's department provided an allocation of $887,000 in federal low-income housing tax credits that enabled us to raise the $7 million of equity I spoke of. And she also provided another $5.1 million in state and federal funds for 5 programs that have a kind of an alphabet soup of names to them, so I won't take you through all of those. Essentially, Undersecretary Brooks' office allocates all of these scarce federal and state, some of which are administered by others here today, in a very competitive environment. And so we want you to be very, very nice to her. For us. And Tina, I also want to mention one other thing about your work. Well, money is a good thing. Proactive policy and quick actions are as good. And I have to say that when we were trying to get our 40R permit in this city, DHCD, Tina's agency, approved the 40R district here in Haverhill, and record enabled us to get our approvals in an expedited way. We're very grateful for all the DHD staff who may be with us here today. I'm sure too many to name. And I also wanted to just mention, by the way, that Tina is about to receive, I think next week, a Vision Award for her great leadership, and so we congratulate you for that. Please do, please welcome with me Undersecretary Brooks.
I put my prepared away because I was kind of enthused this morning because I started in Lowell. I've been looking around the area. I end up here in Haverhill, and there's some consistency here. The governor, the lieutenant governor, my boss, Secretary Bielecki, they tell us all the time, do whatever you can to support local leadership, the great ideas that are bubbling up on the ground. And the issue with that is that there's nothing to support if there's no vision, if there's no there, right? So I would have to say that today, it's not morning anymore, but today I've been in 2 great places where there's been lots of vision and lots of ideas about how to rethink, reinvent communities to take advantage of the best assets that are available. And Mayor, you have done that so well. You've really laid out a whole strategy for bringing more people downtown in Haverhill, and a diversity of people that add to the tax base, add to the life and vitality of the community. So it's been a very easy thing for DHCD to support. So yeah, we have committed significant resources here, but more than that, I hope that we've encouraged the plan and the strategy that you're starting to unfold. And Cardinal O'Malley, thank you so much for your advocacy for that vision and how you take all these steps to implement some of the great opportunities that are put before us on the ground. We hope that the example of Haverhill is replicated across the Commonwealth. That's what we're seeing in the Massachusetts recovery. The fact that we've been able to add 65,000 jobs since December, and the fact that we're seeing a 14% increase in tax revenues year over year in the last month, I think bodes well for the Commonwealth, and hopefully with all of the great things that are happening on the ground, it'll continue to grow and continue to thrive. And this particular project, I would say, is remarkable. I remember being here not that long ago. Remember the day on the train platform when in this building, all the guys in hard hats were leaning out the window and waving. You know, they had work to do. They were here, they were here like making the jobs happen, making the housing happen. And now we're benefiting from that. We see it. So we see where responding to community need comes together with economic opportunity to the benefit of all. And I'll say one last thing about because Lisa is so talented as a developer and so creative in the way she structures many of these projects financially. From a financial perspective, to think about putting together a transaction that can take some responsibility for meeting the needs of lower income residents today, while still acknowledging that Haverhill is on the move. And more people want to be here of all income brackets, and that workforce is important. So I believe there's an opportunity for some of the units here to become available as workforce units to higher income workers that want to be here in about 5 years. That as the economy improves, especially as Haverhill's opportunities improve, the property can change and adapt to that and accommodate a mixed income population. So congratulations on a wonderful job well done.
Thank you very much, Tina. The secret to this, of course, is not in my hands, but in Bill Grogan's, as many of you know, who really is the brains and brilliance behind putting this together, and especially that particularly creative financing structure. We'll talk more about that. We're very pleased now to have Senator Stephen Baddour with us today. He's representing the Massachusetts Legislative Delegation. Also with us are Representative Dempsey and Representative Barbara Italian, and we're very, very pleased to have all three of you here today. Senator Baddour played a strong advocacy role for us with the Massachusetts Historical Commission, especially in the Secretary of State in their office when we applied for state historic tax credits for the Hayes. With his help, we secured $3.2 million in state historic tax credits that then provided important critical funding and equity to the development. Senator Baddour was also very instrumental, really from the beginning, providing support throughout the development. And particularly as we applied for a very wide variety of funds, he was always there with the first letter of support to get us in the door and get these funds awarded. Please thank and welcome with me Senator Stephen Baddour.
Thank you very much. Representative Dempsey and Representative Italian both got laryngitis this morning, so I got chosen to be the spokesperson for the legislative delegation. But this has really been a team approach with the Congresswoman, with the Mayor, and with both Brian and Bob. We're working together in a way to move Haverhill forward. The Mayor has done an outstanding job leading that. But if you look back at every opportunity here in Haverhill, the state has played a critical role. Whether it's the 40R program, which was created by the legislature, if you look at the transit-oriented development program, which helped fund the parking garage. Again, Brian, Barbara, and I led the efforts because we knew the importance it would have right here in downtown Haverhill. So we are very pleased to be here to be part of Renaissance, as the Mayor often talks about. But we played a small role in, there's a number of folks here from the Chamber of Commerce. I saw Jim Jajuga here as well. We want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. But there is a certain family here that I think is synonymous, their name is synonymous with really giving back to this community, giving back to the city of Haverhill. And his Eminence mentioned Doc Arcity earlier. And I just want to publicly thank the Arcity family, because if you look at Haverhill, you look at all the positive things that happened in Haverhill. Behind, I think you can always recognize and see Doc and his family's involvement in the community. So we want to thank them. It wasn't a small token, a small investment. It was close to $1 million that the Arcities gave back to make this project work. So I want to publicly thank Doc for his role in that. So, thank you to everyone who has been involved in this project. Just a heartfelt thank you, because as His Eminence said, and the Mayor and everyone has said, this is truly about helping people. And there is nothing, I think, that's more rewarding than being handed a set of keys to your own home, to your own place, to have your family sleep, and to know that you're going to be in a warm place at night. So again, Your Eminence, thank you for your leadership in so many issues, especially in the housing issue. And again, on behalf of Representative Dempsey, Representative Italian, a large thank you, a big thank you to everyone who's been involved. Thank you.
Senator and representatives, and I have to say, Senator Baddour, you stole some of my thunder about Doc Arcity, so I will forgive you for that later on. Yes, well, that would be the place to go. I would like to talk a little more about DOC in just a moment. But for now, let me turn to Bank of America, who has been an unusually strong partner of our office for many years on many developments and played a prominent role here at the Hayes at Railroad Square. Michael Hatfield, Senior Vice President, is representing the bank with us today. Mike and his staff have thoughtfully underwritten and funded countless projects for us, focusing on the strengths of the developments and always responding with support and enthusiasm for the new ideas we're constantly tossing their way. This is a bank that is not stodgy or staid. They are dynamic and in constant motion, always finding new ways to do business and to support our efforts. Our office has been blessed with the work of Maria Berry, Dory Collin, who I think is here today, Trish Marinell, also here today, I see. And it is because of this team that we have continued our work through, I have to say, one of obviously the worst economic recessions in years, while many other developers and deals have been stalled or are standing still. At the Hayes, the bank provided $11.5 million in a construction loan with the participation of Pentucket Bank here in Haverhill. Bank of America also bought provided $7 million in equity when they purchased the low-income housing tax credits that Senator Songus made sure were there and that Undersecretary Brooks allocated to. And most importantly, our partnership with the bank has resulted in high-quality, affordable homes for hundreds of families and individuals, and in a very significant investment in many communities. Thank you, Mike, for the unusual commitment and for the bank's terrific team. Please welcome Mike Hatfield.
I just want to ask Lisa whether we'd have, I should ask my own staff, whether we have our marketing people here so we can hold this endorsement for our next commercial. Actually, Lisa stole a lot of our thunder, which is my thunder, which is great, in endorsing the bank. So we have, and we're very glad to participate in making this project come true, as Lisa has suggested. So I'm going to dispense with the accomplishments of Bank of America with regard to this project and just focus on what we think is very important at the bank, and that is the tremendous value of public-private partnerships. First of all, I do want to make reference to the planning office. We have been privileged to be their bank of choice for many years, and I think, many projects. I can't remember how many at this point. But this project was very easy for us, like others involving the planning office, to get to a yes to in terms of the financing because of the track record, the professionalism, the ability, and all the individuals and the capability of the planning office. It's always a pleasure to deal with the planning office. It's always a pleasure to have a developer partner who, while we may disagree on some issues concerning the underwriting or the financing, at the end of the day, there's a mutual respect that allows us always to get to a yes. And we very much appreciate the confidence that they show and appreciate every deal that we've done with them in the past and hopefully in the future as well. So I just wanted to make that known. Secondly, you see my colleagues here to my right, some of whom you've heard from before and some have yet to hear from. In this environment, and even in the past, it's almost impossible for projects like these, particularly in affordable housing, to get done without the cooperation of many. There's always layers of financing. It takes intercreditor agreements and people willing to sit down and iron out the difficulties. It is much more difficult than conventional transactions, as many of you know. Without the long-term friendship, partnership, ability to work together and get things done of agencies like MHFA, Tom Gleason, Clark Ziegler at MHP, my good friend Tina, say on a personal note, not representing Bank of America, that I think this administration, the Patrick administration, second to none, has been a terrific supporter of affordable housing, has been extremely willing to work actively with the private sector, and we appreciate that. So with that, I just want to say again, Trish Marinelli, where are you? Stand up. I get to make the big speeches, but Trish does all the hard work. And I'm sorry I'm not going to go through everybody, but Ken McLaughlin, She's our equity person. Kim, stand up. I'll just let you know that Bank of America is the largest investor in low-income housing tax credits in the country. And Kim ably represents that division. And then Dory Conlon, you stand up too. Dory's short. You might have to stand on your tippy toes. She's a client manager, and those people deserve a special thanks. So with that, thank you all, and we appreciate you inviting us here today.
Thank you very much, Mike. We have just a couple of more speakers to go, and I want to now introduce Clark Ziegler, Director of the Massachusetts Housing Partnership. On the other end of the Bank of America's investment is that in this development is our partner for the long term, the way we like to think of MHP. Where the Bank of America is an ideal private sector partner, I have to say, MHP more than rivals them on the public sector side. The Massachusetts Housing Partnership, under Clark's leadership, has provided permanent mortgage financing on several of our developments. I think this is one of the first times we've been able to actually have you at a recent ribbon cutting. And what we find about them is that they really enjoy discoveries, to look at things. And again, this is a very unusual thing for a lender or for someone in the financial business. When Bill Grogan, our COO, says he proposes some somewhat, maybe I won't say crazy, creative, complex, sophisticated, 2 or 3 income tier structure that, while maximizing public benefit, creates a little complexity in the financing. Well, he does that. Clark Ziegler and his team pause for just a moment, and they say, oh, so you want to have 2 mortgages for 2 different kinds of units, and then someone could do something else in 5 to 10 years. Well, sounds good. That works. We can do that with you. Again, that's really unusual. MHP takes creativity in stride because it's so second nature to them. It's rare, and it creates the very best developments. At the Hayes, MHP has provided 2 permanent mortgages totaling $1.9 million in a thoughtful and smooth underwriting process through the work of Megan Mulcahy, David Rockwell. I see David out in the freezing cold with Judy Jacobson, and I don't know if Megan's here today, but we thank you very much, and thank you, Clark, for your leadership. Please join me in thanking and welcoming Clark Ziegler.
Thanks. I really appreciate the kind words. I'm not sure how well tied down the tent is, so I'll be brief. Just 2 points I want to make. First of all, I have to say we have financed rental housing developments in every major city in the Commonwealth, and I think with just about every significant housing nonprofit in the Commonwealth. And what you have here today is the dream team, honestly. I can't think of any nonprofit developer that we would rather do business with, or any city that is more of a pleasure to work with. And really don't take that for granted. You've got terrific planning and zoning and vision at the city level. You've got the capacity in the planning office to do complex projects. And if you guys can keep these projects coming, we will finance them every day of the week. I know it's not so easy. These projects take time here, but really this is what it's all about, and it is really, honestly, a pleasure to work with both of you, as we've done in the past. The second thing, just picking up on Lisa's comments at the beginning, is really putting a project like this in a statewide context. And in talking about the ballot question 2, it's not just about fairness, it's not just about justice, it's not just about low-income people. Housing in Massachusetts is part of the lifeblood of our economy. Without housing, it's impossible to have growth in jobs. Without jobs, we can't have a healthy economy that supports the quality of life and the public services that we have come to expect in this Commonwealth. We can't just rely on forward-looking cities like Haverhill to meet the housing needs of this larger Commonwealth. It really is something, it's a responsibility that we all share as citizens, and for that reason I would strongly urge you to vote no on question 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Clark, and thank you for the additional 40B plug. Our final speaker for the day is Tom Gleason, Executive Director of Mass Housing, who is also representing the Commonwealth here with us today. Mass Housing is the state's affordable housing bank, that has provided more than 10.4 billion with a B, in financing for home developers of affordable rental housing. And I probably have to update my numbers, Tom, because I'm sure it's 11 billion. Okay, thank you for that. Under Tom's leadership, Mass Housing has just completed one of the strongest lending years in history, while the entire country has been in the midst of a terrible recession. That is no small feat, and it speaks to his experience, expertise, and leadership more than anything else. They have been so active in our projects and in supporting the work of the office that I get to see Tom regularly at these groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, which is a real treat for me. To being here in Haverhill today, we'll be in Billerica next Wednesday. I'm not sure if you can make it. And we're going to be breaking ground on another development of Billerica then. At the Hayes, Mass Housing administered the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, providing $1.1 million to the project for the workforce units. Tom and his great staff, Connie Cogswell and Lynn Shields, were terrific. I don't think they're here today. I think they're back at the office working on Billerica in our next closing, thankfully. I have the pleasure of also serving with Tom on the Governor's Multifamily Advisory Committee. His work well. Please join me in welcoming Tom Gleason.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Lisa, thank you for your very kind words. Okay, I'm going to make a statement of the obvious, because that's usually what I do. Haverhill is back, and everybody knows it. It's the ribbon cutting that we're going to have here at the Hayes. Our ribbon cutting event here at the Hayes Railroad Station is just the latest indication of that and the great progress that's been going on here in the city. I want to add my words of congratulations to the Planning Office of Urban Affairs in the city of Haverhill for bringing life to your vision here of what would you do with a former box factory. Mayor Fiorentini, Cardinal O'Malley, Lisa, thank you for your leadership in making this happen. I can't say it any more simply than that. And I have to say, like every that you work on, it looks terrific. It will fit right in here. All of my colleagues have already said everything that needs to be said about this project. That's the beauty about going last. But I do think it's pretty critical to reiterate one point to all of you today. Housing can and should be an essential part of any downtown revitalization that goes on, not just here in this great city, but all across the state. It's a key element of the vitality that a city needs for economic stabilization and economic growth. And all of you for the work that you've done to take that up. It's obvious that you've got it all here in Haverhill. You're an example of what all of our cities should be striving for when they use Chapter 40R to take on the great work that you're doing. I want to say a special word of thanks, if I can, to Congresswoman Tsongas and Senator Baddour on behalf of our state delegation. Your ongoing support of our affordable housing programs in Washington and here in the state is the only reason that housing like this behind us gets done. It's not any more complicated than that. And finally, Mr. Mayor, you put a great team together here. You really, really have. It makes it easy for all of us that we call ourselves the funders and we travel in packs around here. It makes it easy for us to make a commitment to this development. This is the 8th deal that we've done with the planning office, and Lisa, I look forward to number 9, quite frankly. I think that'll be great. And our commitment to this city stretches over not just a number of years, but over decades. Over 1,200 units of mixed-income rental housing here. We've helped 1,000 families buy their first homes in Haverhill and put down roots. So it's great to see that this latest investment that we've made is in such good hands. I thank you for taking care of that, and I thank you all for the work that you've done.
Thank you very much, Tom. Before we wrap up here, I wanted to just make a special recognition of a few people. And the first, of course, is Doc Arcidi. And again, this was to be a surprise, and everyone wasn't supposed to say nice things about you before I got to. But we are very grateful for your support. Doc Arcidi agreed to sell us this great building many years ago, and he has been very generous in his support of our office through both the sale-wise. And he was stuck with us really through a number of ups and downs, many funding rounds. As we all know, this takes a while to put together, and you need to have somebody who's very patiently waiting on the other end. He has been steadfast in his conviction to help the church, help those in need, and we are most grateful for your support and your work. We'd like very much for you to come and accept a gift from the Cardinal. We'd also like to thank, these are a couple of surprise things around the program, but we'd like to thank Michael Fish from Delbert, his company. He and Michael. His company did the wonderful rehabilitation work here at the building with great care and craftsmanship. And really, Michael gave paid very close personal attention to this. He did a superb job for your superb work, your work ethic, and in recognition of all of the workers who helped make this happen. Thank you very much, and please come and accept a gift from us. Thank you, Michael. There are just a couple of other people I'd like to have come up, and I want to just acknowledge the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston and Pentucket Bank. The Federal Home Loan Bank gave us $400,000 in AHP funds and a subsidized advance that wrote down the interest rate in the mortgage. And Pentucket Bank was both a participating lender on the construction loan with Bank of America and the member bank who applied for those funds. So if I could have, I think Joanne might be here from Federal Home Loan Bank, and someone from Pentucket Bank, please come and accept a gift from us. And I'd also lastly like to thank Mass Development, CDAC, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for their financial support. Mass Development provided grant funds of $130,000, CDAC a $210,000 pre-development loan, and also the EPA provided a $200,000 grant as well. When you think about all that goes into this, it's just incredible that we get here at the end of the day. So if I could have someone from, I think Roger's here from CDAC, and if we have a representative of the EPA, that would be great, and Mass Development. Thank you. I do have to ask another person not expecting this, Jim Jajuga, to please come up and accept a gift on our behalf to the Chamber and all of the incredible work that the Chamber of Commerce has done here in Haverhill, and for all of your support on this development and what we've been trying to do here with you for many, many years. Thank you very much.
I really could use some of this money. There's a lot of money floating around. I'm overwhelmed. I'll take 200, a million, 700.
This is when we give you the hook, because it's all for us. We have just two more quick gifts to give out, but before we do that, I do want to acknowledge our development team. We do have gifts for all of you that we can't give you now because of our time, but we will have them for you here afterwards. And I want to say a special thanks to Peabody Properties, who has done a remarkable job. Susan Guston, Melissa Fish is here, Neely, the wonderful property manager. I don't know where, they're probably inside getting things ready for us. But thank you very much, Peabody Properties. Nina Schwarzschild in the back of the room there, who was part of the brains behind this, our development consultant who helped us get this done. Thank you very much, Nina. Their team, Principal Mike Bennett is here. This is the crowd outside in the cold, so they really want this to be done. But Michael, and thank you very much. Gary Kane did an incredible job for us at the architectural team. Nolan, Sheen, and Patton, Steve Nolan, Brett are back in the back of the room there. Thank you so much. Our attorneys who were terrific. Bob Dorfman, I don't know if he's here from Tax Credit Finance, helped with the syndication. GZA did our geotech engineering. Thank you very much. I want to say a special thanks to the planning office staff, Molly Eckert, who is absolutely the person who made this come together, and Celeste Perry. Thank you very much. You will enjoy the food from the caterers and the other folks who helped bring this together shortly. Many special thanks to our board member, Jerry DeBolio, who is here today in the audience. Thank you, Jerry, for your commitment and your work of leadership. Okay, I'm going to do just two more things that people don't know about, and then we're going to close with our song. This has truly been a team, as all of our work is. This is clearly a case where one person made this all happen. And I want to acknowledge this because we all know that Bill Grogan practically single-handedly got this job done. We know that he won't want to take credit for it, and he won't be pleased with this acknowledgement, but it is only because of Bill's brilliance, his professionalism, his patience, and his work ethic that we all know. Anyone who's worked with him knows this is unequaled in our industry. We are really grateful to have Bill on our staff and nobody near him. Most of us have touched one or two pieces of this deal. Bill's work is on every single bit of what's happened here. We all know that he's touched everything. I just do what Bill tells me to do. It is really, we and the residents have him to thank more than anybody else, so Bill, please come and accept a gift. To ask his daughters to come take it if he wouldn't come forward. Thank you, Bill. I don't know if Elise Kelly is here or if she's indoors. She is. Great. This is our last gift to hand out. Elise, who also doesn't know about this, is one of our residents, and she's starting her own small business, and she has graciously baked a beautiful cake for us, the celebration cake, which is inside. You will all enjoy it, I'm sure. And I just wanted to ask Elise if she would come forth and accept flowers from the Cardinal, really in recognition for your work and on behalf of all of the residents who we are really honored to serve. Thank you. I know you weren't expecting that, so again, forgive us. Okay, I'd like to wrap up. What I'm going to do is we will have a closing song, and when we're done with that, people can find it in themselves to stay a little warm or cold, get cold for a little bit. We're going to ask the speakers, the Cardinal and the Mayor, to go around the corner to the front of the building. We will cut a ribbon quickly so that we won't get too cold, and then please join us for refreshments in the community space. Take tours of the property. We've got 3 units open. They are spectacular. We have a beautiful community area down there, a yoga room, exercise room, a cafe. Please join us to see that. So in closing, Pope Paul VI, in celebrating World Peace Day in 1972, said, "If you want peace, work for justice." We believe that a decent, safe, and affordable home and vibrant communities with opportunity for all are at the very heart of a just society. It is our collective contribution here to peace through the work that we do together. So, to conclude our celebration, please join Tina Talby, who is a beautiful vocalist today, and Stephen Lee in our closing song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." And again, right after that, we will just walk around the corner and cut the ribbon. Thank you so much. Now let's quickly go around the corner to the front. It's not raining, so we can do this.
Open for business.
Please join us for the side entrance.
Very impressed.